Today we're going to attempt to beat ELITE Bloonarius on logs while only using the water. We did this challenge a long time ago versus normal Bloonarius on a half-cash boss event, but with the changes that has taken place in the update since, I think we're ready to take on ELITE, but it's gonna be close. In the beginning of the game, there really isn't a lot of options. The only way for us to farm is to start placing merchantmen that we later upgrade to favor trades. Anytime playing a water-only challenge where the amount of water is also very limited, the early game farming takes a huge hit and the money will always be tight as a result. My hero is going to be Brickell. I'm not placing her right away because the only thing I'm going to be using her for in this game is for her level 3 ability that increases the attack speed of other water towers for tier 1. So right now I only want to place boats to increase my farming. As tier 1 comes, I sell my merchantmen and replace them with my hero and an aircraft carrier set to strong, and I keep using my hero's ability over and over. As for camo detection, our bottom path boats can see camo, and Brickell's ability also gives camo to the aircraft carrier after she reaches level 5, which happens just a few rounds later, so we don't have to worry about any camo bloons sneaking by our defense. During the kill, I upgrade one of the favored trades to the trade empire, and I also make sure to time Brickell's ability for the last 2 skulls to make sure I don't leak to the rushes. And with that we're able to take down the first tier within a reasonable amount of rounds, and now we need to get back to farming. We sell the trade empire and hero and get the carrier flagship. Then we get a new favored trades and sell the other one, place an ice monkey on the carrier to freeze the water, and then place another ice monkey in the very top right corner. Placing this pixel perfect allows you to sell the original ice monkey and have the second one stand on a tiny pixel of land where you would not have been able to place anything were it not for you freezing the water first. With this ice monkey, we'll be able to place land towers anywhere on the water for the rest of the game. Then we get a tier 5 middle path heli and get working on a bloon trap and a rubber to gold alk. We stall the rounds as much as we can to get as many uses of the heli's ability as possible. Whenever we're done stalling, we try to use the heli to push the bloons so that the rubber to gold can throw its golden potion onto them and then let them go into the trap. On round 59 we have to deal with some camo lead, so I drop down a decamo sub to get this round out of the way. For tier 2 I get a mad, and for all the bloons I tried using a bloon liquefier and upgrading the sub to tier 4, but this was getting overrun way too easily. The solution ended up being to get an abyssal warrior and a bloon liquefier. The top path mermonkey is awesome against dense groups of bloons and also increases the pierce of other nearby towers, and with this setup the bloons were not an issue at all. This isn't the first time I've used the abyssal warrior in this way. Turns out that this tower is a huge competition to things like the bloon liquefier and more glaives when it comes to taking out all the ceramics when facing Bloonarius. A very useful tower in a lot of challenges. After finishing tier 2, we sell everything except the ice monkey and place a discount village and then a rubber to gold alk and the XXXL trap. Then we get a bottom path boat and upgrade the village to Monkey City and also radar scanner to give camo detection to the trap. The XXXL trap was given a big buff in terms of its income in the recent update. Instead of giving 2x cash like the normal bloon trap, it now gives 3x cash, something that will end up being pivotal to this run. Then we eventually upgrade the boat to tier 5 and micro the trap whenever necessary. Another awesome upgrade that the NG got in update 46 was that the ultra boost can now be used in between rounds just like the overclock, a very big convenience for us later in the game. We continue farming like this until the next tier, at which point we sell the rubber to gold and then place the middle path and bottom path tier 5 dart monkeys. The upgrade order here matters a lot. First of all, we get the middle path to tier 4 and then the bottom path to tier 4, and then we upgrade the most expensive one to tier 5. This is to make use of the monkey knowledge that makes upgrades cheaper if all primary towers on the map are tier 3 or 4. We also make sure that the one we upgrade to the Paragon is the most expensive, the Plasma Monkey Fan Club, so that once we sell the Paragon we get more cash back. We then sell the village and place the final tier 5 dart monkey. We start the round and let the NG place another trap and then sell the NG and then the trade empire to get enough cash to get the paragon right away. The trap actually disappeared when I sold the NG. This didn't used to be the case and seems to have changed since this update. They said in the update notes that it made it so that if you sell a bloon trap and buy another one, it will now delete the old trap and place a new one right away, so it doesn't have to wait for the old one to get filled before placing down a new one. But this change seems to not just delete the old trap when buying another one, but it deletes the trap right away when selling the NG, something I'm not sure was intentional by Ninja Kiwi, but I hope it gets fixed because this is some really cool tech that can be used to your advantage. The paragon is set to strong at all times, and I go ahead and build some favored trades to make money while I'm taking down the boss, and a few rounds later, tier 3 is done. Getting back to farming again, we get a banana central in the bottom right corner and an overclock in the top left and a bloon solver in the bottom left. The spot where the overclock is placed is the only place where it can fit. To the left and over the farm you can only fit very small towers, something that will cause us a bunch of trouble pretty soon. The overclock will soon be upgraded to the ultra boost and keep putting stacks on the farm all the time. The ultra boost will also decamo all the bloons while the bloon solver will take them down. We also try to stall the rounds by using the ice monkey's ability and also upgrading it to refreeze so that it stalls bloons outside of the bloon solver's range. This will allow us to reach 10 stacks on the farm a bit sooner. Once we are done stalling for that, we also add a tier 4 and tier 5 middle path sniper for their cash generating abilities, and then we continue stalling after that as well, now for the sake of the sniper's ability. I gave the elite sniper the bottom cross path, and if I was having trouble with any round I could just use the ultra boost on him during the round after the farm was done giving out bananas for that round to make sure I don't lose out on any cash, and like that we have now reached tier 4. And here is where our trouble begins. For this tier we need a paragon, but we also need it to be of a high enough degree that it can also solo tier 5, and at the moment we don't even have enough cash to get a good paragon to degree 1. This means that we need to start the boss fight and continue farming for a lot longer and then get the paragon mid-round. The first time I replaced one of the snipers with a master bomber in order to survive the rounds, and when I got the ninja paragon it was only degree 7. And we're gonna need at least degree 20. To get more cash faster, I need to anti-stall the rounds. We need the rounds to go by faster so that the farm generates more cash before the boss gets so far along the track that we need to buy the paragon. First I tried anti-stalling using the MAD, but the problem here is that the only place that the MAD can fit is where we had the ultra boost, so that means that the farm will generate less cash. This time I let the boss get a lot further than last time. I sold the farm, placed a favored trades boat, and then sold the rest of my towers and the boat itself, placed my sacrifices and upgraded them into the paragon, giving me a degree 18. Close, but no cigar. I also waited too long, so this would even end up losing to the boss on tier 4. I had to come up with a different strategy. After a lot of thinking, I came up with what I think is the only way to anti-stall the rounds while still keeping my ultra boost for the farm. A BMA. This will cause us to lose out on some cash from popping the bloons, but it will take down the rounds fairly fast and lets me keep the NG. Here I needed a super glue to help me out against the DDTs, but even that was not enough. I ended up placing 2 new ice monkeys to be able to replace the one in the top right corner, and this time I went with the top cross path so it would be able to freeze the DDTs. And after all that work, a degree 17. One less than before, even though I also waited longer. My next idea was to go for a nav arc instead of a ninja paragon, which I got to degree 7, and this did take down tier 4, but wasn't even close to take down tier 5. I needed to get that degree 20 ninja paragon. And I eventually figured out what I needed to do. The reason I got degree 17 last time and degree 18 before was because I used a master bomber as part of my defense, which got me a few extra pops to add to the power of the paragon. I needed to combine a Master Bomber, an Absolute Zero with the other crosspath, and a BMA for anti-stalling instead of the MAD so I could keep the NG. After anti-stalling for a while, sometimes using the Ultra Boost on the BMA to finish the rounds faster, I placed the other 2 tier 5s and also 2 additional ninjas for some extra tiers, and this time I got degree 22. I really thought this was it, but I had waited too long and I was dying to the final rush sent out by Bloonarius, but since I got 2 degrees higher than what I was aiming for, that meant that there was room for me to get the Paragon slightly sooner and still get degree 20. Next time I got exactly the degree I wanted, and this time I was not dying to the final rush. Now I only had the final tier left. I got myself a 402 sniper set to last to try and stall the rounds a bit in case the rounds would otherwise pass too quickly, but because of the ninja's attacks being seeking, this won't help out very much. As I was progressing the final tier, I felt very confident. That was until the final rush of bads. These ended up killing me every single time. The solution ended up being to get 3 additional 240 Ice Monkeys so that I had 4 freeze abilities in total that I could spam as soon as the bads popped right before the exit. I also needed to use the Absolute Zero prior to that to stall the ZOMGs that come during the normal rounds so that they would not be in the way and eat up the Pierce that is meant to be going to the bloons closest to the exit. And after a long time of testing all kinds of different strategies throughout this run, I finally managed to beat ELITE Bloonarius using only the water. This is something I was convinced was not even possible when we did this last time on normal difficulty, so I'm very satisfied that I finally managed to do it. Leave a like if you enjoyed the video, and I will see you in the next one.